The airport never slept. Even at dawn, when the sky outside was still pale and undecided, the terminal pulsed with motion, heels clicking against polished floors, suitcases rolling like distant thunder, the low hum of announcements echoing through glass and steel. At Gate 47B, people lined up in quiet impatience for Flight 918 to San Francisco. Among them stood Ariel Johnson. She didn't look like someone the world called powerful. No diamonds caught the light on her fingers. No designer logo announced her worth. No assistant hovered beside her with a clipboard. She wore a simple cream sweater, dark jeans, and flat shoes chosen not for appearance, but comfort. Her hair was pulled back neatly, her face calm, unreadable. To everyone else, she was just another black woman waiting to board a plane. To reality, she was a billionaire. Self-made. Quiet. Relentless. Ariel had learned early in life that visibility could be dangerous. Growing up in a neighborhood where sirens sang more often than lullabies, she learned how quickly assumptions could turn into weapons. Her mother used to say, "You don't owe the world an explanation for your existence." Ariel carried that sentence everywhere. When boarding began, first-class passengers were called. Ariel didn't move. She always waited. Not because she had to, but because she liked watching people when they believed status protected them. When her group was finally announced, she stepped forward, scanned her boarding pass, and walked down the jet bridge. Her seat assignment read clearly: 3A First Class, Window. She paused when she reached it. Someone was already sitting there. A white man in his mid-40s leaned comfortably against the window, legs spread slightly, jacket tossed over the armrest as if the space belonged to him by birthright. A crystal glass of orange juice rested on the tray table. He didn't look up. Ariel stood patiently. "Excuse me," she said softly. "I believe you're in my seat." The man glanced up slowly, like someone irritated by an unexpected interruption. He looked her over. Once. Twice. Then he smirked. "No, I'm not." Ariel held up her boarding pass. "Seat 3A. He let out a dry laugh. "Yeah, well, you're mistaken." A few nearby passengers shifted in their seats. Ariel kept her voice even. "Sir, this is my assigned seat." He removed one AirPod, irritation spreading across his face. "Look," he said, lowering his voice but not enough, "economy is further back. You don't need to play games." The words hit harder than he intended. The cabin grew quiet. Ariel felt it, the familiar tightening in her chest. Not fear. Not anger. Recognition. She had heard variations of this sentence her entire life. "You don't belong here. You must be mistaken. This space isn't for you." She inhaled slowly. "I'm not playing games," she said. "I just want my seat." He rolled his eyes. "Sure you do." A flight attendant approached. Maria, a woman in her early 30s with tired eyes and a professional smile. "Is there a problem here?" "Yes," the man said quickly. "She's trying to take my seat." Maria looked at Ariel's boarding pass. Then at his. Her expression changed. "Sir," she said carefully, "this seat is hers." The man laughed, a sharp, humorless sound. "Oh, come on. Be serious." Maria straightened. "I am serious." He leaned back, crossing his arms. "Does she look like first class to you?" The words landed like a slap. A gasp rippled through the cabin. Ariel felt heat rise to her face, but she didn't raise her voice. Maria stiffened. "Sir, that's inappropriate." The man shrugged. "Just being honest." Ariel placed her boarding pass back into her tote. "It's okay," she said quietly. "Let him sit." Maria turned, startled. "Ma'am?" "It's fine," Ariel repeated. The man smirked, victorious. He didn't see Maria's clenched jaw. He didn't notice Ariel's thumb typing calmly on her phone. One message. One sentence. Sent to a number very few people knew existed. 10 minutes. Later. The plane began to taxi. Passengers relaxed. Headphones went back on. Conversations resumed. The man in seat 3A stretched comfortably, satisfied. Then the plane stopped. An announcement crackled over the speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain seated. We have paused departure due to a security matter. Confusion spread like a wave. The man frowned. What now? Moments later, the aircraft door opened. Two uniformed airport security officers stepped inside. Behind them walked a sharply dressed woman carrying a tablet, the director of airline operations. They didn't scan the cabin. They walked directly to seat 3A. Sir, one officer said firmly, please stand up. The man laughed nervously. This is ridiculous. The director turned to Ariel. Miss Johnson, she said respectfully, we sincerely apologize. The cabin froze. Whispers erupted. Ms. Johnson? Why are they apologizing to her? The man's face drained of color. You see, the director continued, her voice calm but clear, Ms. Ariel Johnson is one of the airline's largest private investors. Silence. Pure, stunned silence. And, the officer added, your refusal to comply with crew instructions, combined with discriminatory remarks, constitutes a violation of federal aviation regulations. The man stammered. I didn't know. Ariel stepped forward. That's the point, she said gently. You didn't need to know. The captain appeared from the cockpit. This flight will not depart until this matter is resolved. The man was escorted off the plane. As he passed Ariel, his shoulders slumped. I'm sorry, he whispered. She met his eyes, not with triumph, but with sadness. I hope you learn, she said. The door closed. The plane exhaled. As they finally took off, Maria brought Ariel a glass of water. I'm so sorry, she said quietly. Ariel smiled. Kindness doesn't need permission, she replied. A young black girl walking back from the restroom paused beside her seat. You were amazing, the girl whispered. Ariel smiled back. But what no one on that plane knew was that this incident was only the beginning. Because the world outside that aircraft was about to hear the story. And it would change lives far beyond seat 3A. The flight landed in San Francisco under a sky brushed with early gold. Passengers stood, stretched, reached for bags, but something felt different. Quieter. Heavier. As if everyone on board knew they had witnessed more than an argument over a seat. Ariel Johnson remained seated until the aisle cleared. She always did. As she stepped off the plane, Maria, the flight attendant, caught up to her, eyes shining. Ms. Johnson, thank you, she said. Not for who you are. But for how you were. Ariel squeezed her hand. We're all still learning. What neither of them knew was that someone had recorded everything. The video. By the time Ariel reached her car, her phone vibrated nonstop. Unknown numbers. Missed calls. Emails stacking faster than she could read. A single message stood out. Ariel, have you seen Twitter? A passenger, quiet, shaking, angry in the best way, had posted a video. The clip began with the white passenger refusing to move. His words were clear. Ugly. Undeniable. Then the moment the flight was grounded. The apology. The removal. The caption read. She stayed calm while the world showed its worst. Respect black excellence. Within 3 hours, the video crossed 20 million views. By nightfall, it was everywhere. The world reacts. News outlets scrambled. Billionaire investor humiliated on flight responds with grace. Racism exposed at 30,000 feet. Why this woman's silence spoke louder than anger. People argued, defended, denied. But the footage didn't lie. Ariel didn't do interviews. She never did. She returned home instead to a modest house overlooking the bay, far quieter than her net worth suggested. That night, she stood in her kitchen, staring at a framed photograph. Her mother. Smiling. Tired. Proud. And the memories came rushing back. Ariel's past. Ariel was 9 when a teacher accused her of cheating. Not because she was caught, but because her test score was too high. Her mother had walked into that school wearing a second-hand coat and an unbreakable spine. She didn't cheat, her mother said calmly. You just didn't expect her to be brilliant. That was the day Ariel learned 2 things. Excellence would always make some people uncomfortable. Dignity was power. Her mother worked 2 jobs. Cleaned offices at night. Came home exhausted. Before she passed away, she whispered, "Build something so strong they can't pretend you don't belong." Ariel did. Tech infrastructure. Aviation investments. Quiet ownership in loud spaces. The man who stole the seat. The white passenger's name was Richard Hale. By the next morning, he was suspended from his firm. By the next week, he was fired. His face, frozen in disbelief as security escorted him off, became a symbol. But the collapse didn't end there. Richard sat alone in his apartment, TV flickering with headlines that bore his shame. His daughter, 16, stood in the doorway. "Dad," she said quietly, "is that really you?" He couldn't answer. That night, he cried for the first time in decades. Not because he was caught, but because he was seen. The letter. 3 weeks later, Ariel received a handwritten envelope. No return address. Inside was a letter. Ms. Johnson. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I owe you the truth. I didn't hate you. I hated what your presence forced me to see in myself. My daughter asked me why you stayed calm. I had no answer. I'm trying to become someone who does. Richard. Ariel folded the letter carefully. She didn't respond. But she didn't throw it away either. The kindness no one saw coming. Instead of interviews, Ariel announced something else. A $50 million initiative. Not named after herself. Not announced with fanfare. A scholarship and aviation training fund for underrepresented youth, partnered with the same airline. The press asked why. Her answer was one sentence. Because grounding a flight is easy. Lifting people is harder. Applications flooded in. One came from a young black girl in Oakland. Her essay ended with, "I want to fly planes so no one ever tells me I don't belong in the sky." Ariel approved it personally. The final moment. Months later, Ariel boarded another flight. Different city. Different plane. Same calm walk. As she reached her seat, a white elderly woman stood and smiled nervously. "Excuse me," she said, holding up her pass, "I think you're 3A. Ariel smiled back warmly and stepped aside. "You're right," she said. "Let me help you with your bag." The woman blinked. "Thank you." As Ariel took her correct seat, the little girl across the aisle stared at her with wonder. "Mama," the girl whispered, "that's the lady from the video." Her mother nodded. Ariel caught the girl's eye and winked. The plane took off smoothly. No delays. No announcements. No drama. Just quiet respect. And somewhere above the clouds, the world felt, if only slightly, lighter. Sometimes, the most powerful thing a person can do is remain human when others forget how.